Welcome back to Multi-Mind, Mental Wellness for the Multi-Hyphenate. I'm your host, Artis Desjardins. Last week, we talked about the identity crisis of wearing too many hats. This week, we're talking about something even more fundamental. How do you actually have enough mental energy to wear all those hats? Because here's what's happening when you're a multi-hyphenate. You're not just managing multiple to-do lists, you're managing multiple energy budgets. Every venture, every role, every professional identity you hold is drawing from the same mental bandwidth account. And unlike money, you can't just deposit more energy when you're running low. So today we're talking about energy economics, how to track where your mental bandwidth actually goes, and how to make intentional choices about how you spend it. Because burnout isn't a time management problem, it's an energy allocation problem. Let me paint you a picture of a week that broke me. I'm working my 9 to 5, 8-hour shift plus commuting. That's already 9 to 10 hours of my day spoken for. But I'm also doing client work. So I'm doing client work on the commute to and from my job on my in-office weeks. I'm doing client work when I get home from work. Oh, and I'm also building a product for launch. So in whatever time is left after my 9 to 5 and client work, I'm developing this product, writing, designing, strategizing. And on top of that, I'm trying to batch video content for social media because if I don't show up online, the work dries up. So I'm waking up early to record. I'm staying up late to edit. I'm using lunch breaks to script content. And somewhere in the middle of that week, I'm sitting on the commute home, staring at my phone, trying to write an email to a client, and I literally couldn't form a coherent sentence. Not because I don't know what to say, but because my brain has nothing left. I had depleted my mental bandwidth budget completely, and I didn't even realize it was happening until I hit empty. Here's something very important. Your mental energy is finite, and where you're a multi-hyphenate, you're making withdrawals from that account all day long across multiple ventures, multiple roles, multiple cognitive modes. And if you don't track it, you will overdraft every single time. Here's what makes energy management so hard for multi-hyphenates. Different types of work require different types of energy, and we don't account for that. When I'm in consulting mode, I'm not just completing tasks, I'm holding space for someone else's challenges. I'm thinking strategically, being present, managing their emotional experience alongside the tactical work. That's not the same as creating content. That's not the same as building a product. That's not the same as sitting in a 9 to 5 responding to emails. Every role you hold comes with its own cognitive load, and some of those loads are invisible. Being a consultant takes the most mental energy for me, and it surprised me how draining it was because depending on the service I'm rendering, I'm not just showing up as a consultant. I'm showing up as a strategist, a coach, a problem solver, sometimes even a therapist for their business struggles. That's not one role. That's multiple roles nested inside of one client interaction. And here's where it gets even more complicated. Your energy patterns matter, and we ignore them. I'm a mid-afternoon person. I start my day around noon. That's when my brain comes alive. But mornings, late nights, those are when decision-making feels impossible. Those are when I'm starting the day or winding down from the day, and my brain is not available for complex thinking. But when you're juggling multiple ventures, you don't always get to work during your high energy windows. You work whenever there's time. And that means you're constantly operating below your cognitive capacity. You're not failing at productivity. You're trying to make energy decisions without tracking your actual energy patterns. So here's the framework I use to manage mental bandwidth across multiple ventures. 3 principles that actually work. Principle number 1, energy allocation, not time management. Stop asking, do I have time for this? And start asking, do I have the right kind of energy for this? Here's how I structure my days now. High energy windows. For me, that's midday to early evening. Client work, strategic thinking, content creation, anything that requires decision making, creativity, or complex problem solving. Medium energy windows, late morning, early afternoon, administrative tasks, email, scheduling, systems maintenance, anything that requires focus but not deep cognitive load. Low energy windows, mornings, late nights. Batch task, data entry, consuming content for research, anything that can run on autopilot. I ensure to properly manage all products and allot specific days and times to apply toward each project or task. Here's the key. Match the energy requirement of the task to the energy you actually have available. Don't try to do strategic consulting work at 9 p.m. when your brain is winding down. Don't try to create content at 7 a.m. when you haven't fully woken up. That's not laziness. That's energy economics. Principle number 2, protect your cognitive switching costs. I tried an altered Pomodoro method once. Instead of staying on one area of focus, I would shift to something different when it was time for breaks, and it destroyed my productivity. Because here's what I didn't account for. Switching between different types of work costs energy. And when you have ADHD or any kind of cognitive diversity, that cost is even higher. Every time you switch from business consulting to educator to content creation to product development, your brain has to reorient. It has to load a different set of knowledge, a different mode of thinking, a different professional identity. That switching, that's a mental bandwidth withdrawal. So now I batch similar work together. If I'm in consulting mode, I do all of my consulting calls in one day or one chunk of time. If I'm in creation mode, I protect that time and don't interrupt it with administrative tasks. The goal isn't to never switch. The goal is to minimize unnecessary switching so you're not bleeding energy on transitions. Principle number 3, energy vampires awareness. You need to know which of your ventures or roles is taking the most mental energy, even when it's not taking the most time. For me, it's consulting. Because I'm being more than just a consultant depending on the service. I'm holding multiple roles within that one professional identity. That awareness matters because it helps me make better decisions about capacity. If I know consulting drains me, I don't schedule 5 consulting calls in one day. I don't take on a new client during a week when I'm also launching a product. Track your energy vampires. Then structure your schedule around protecting yourself from energy bankruptcy. This isn't about doing less. It's about doing things in an order and combination that doesn't drain you completely. Here's your integration work this week. Do an energy audit. For the next 7 days, I want you to track 3 things. 1, energy in versus energy out. At the end of each day, rate your energy on a scale of 1 to 10. Then write down the top 3 things that took the most mental energy that day. Not the most time, the most energy. You're looking for patterns. What type of work consistently drains you? Which ventures are your energy vampires? Which days of the week leave you completely depleted? Number 2, your natural energy rhythm. Notice when your brain feels most alive. When does decision making feel easy? When does it feel impossible? Don't judge it. Don't try to change it. Just notice. Number 3, where you're forcing productivity during low energy windows. Be honest. How often are you trying to do complex work when your brain isn't available for it? At the end of the week, look at your data and ask yourself, what's one energy allocation decision I can make differently next week? Maybe it's batching similar work together. Maybe it's protecting your high energy window for your most draining venture. Maybe it's moving a low priority task to a low energy time. Just one change. That's all you need to start managing your mental bandwidth budget intentionally. Next week, we're diving into when all of your ventures are on fire, and not in a good way. Because sometimes, no matter how well you manage your energy, everything still goes wrong at the same time. And we need to talk about what to do when that happens. If you're feeling that energy depletion right now, that sense of running on empty across all your ventures, I want you to know you're not lazy. You're not inefficient. You're trying to run multiple businesses on a single person's energy budget. And that requires strategy, not just willpower. If you want to be a part of this podcast, submit a voice note or message. Go to multimindpodcast.com and tell me which venture or role is your biggest energy vampire right now. Keep the voice note under 60 seconds. I'll feature your questions throughout the season if given permission. If this episode gave you a new way to think about energy management, subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. Leave a rating or review and share this with a multi-hyphenate who's running on empty. If you want more in-depth business content to take you further in your multi-hyphenate journey, visit my YouTube channel, Artis Desjardins. And if you want to work together one-on-one, head to artisdesjardins.com. Remember, your mental wellness doesn't have a side hustle. It's the main event. I'm Artis, and this is Multi-Mind. I'll see you next week.